My phone buzzed at 11:47 p.m., and the message on the screen made my hands go cold. It was from my son, Caleb. It said, "I canceled your hotel room. Sleep in the lobby." I stood in the hallway outside the front desk with my small suitcase, my sweater pulled tight around my shoulders, and my heart pounding like a drum. The clerk looked at me with pity, like I was a forgotten thing. I stared at the message again, hoping it would change. It did not. My own child had left me with nowhere to sleep, in a city I did not know well, on the weekend of his wedding. I lifted my eyes to the bright lobby cameras and the smiling guests walking past, and I felt something hard and clear rise inside me. If my son wanted to treat me like I did not matter, what else had he already done behind my back? I walked back to the desk slowly, even though I wanted to cry. "Ma'am," the clerk said softly, "your reservation was cancelled about an hour ago." "Who cancelled it?" I asked, though I already knew. The clerk hesitated. The name on the call matched the reservation. He knew the details. I nodded. That was Caleb. He had always known how to say the right things to get what he wanted. I took a deep breath, then another. My hands shook, but my voice stayed steady. "Do you have any rooms left?" I asked. The clerk glanced at the screen. "We are almost full because of the wedding. But there is one room." "What room?" I asked. He swallowed. "The presidential suite." I almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was so strange. My son had tried to push me into a lobby chair, and the only room left was the biggest room in the building. "How much is it?" I asked. He told me the price, and my chest tightened. It was not cheap. But I had savings, and I had a credit card. Caleb thought I was helpless. He thought I would beg. He thought I would call him and say sorry, even though I did nothing wrong. I smiled, small and calm. "I will take it," I said. The clerk blinked. "Are you sure?" "Yes," I said. "I am sure." He handed me a card key and pointed toward the elevator. I thanked him like it was any normal night. Then I walked to the elevator and pressed the button. Inside the elevator, when the doors closed, my smile faded. My legs felt weak. I leaned against the wall and let out a breath I did not know I was holding. I was not just hurt. I was scared, too. Because this was not just rude. This was cruel. This was planned. In my purse, my phone buzzed again. Another message from Caleb. "Don't make a scene. This weekend is about me. Stay quiet." I read it twice. My son was not even pretending to care. He was ordering me like I was a worker, like I was a problem to be managed. When I reached the suite, I stepped into a room so big it looked like a movie set. Soft carpet. Tall windows, a dining table larger than my kitchen table at home, a bedroom with a bed that could fit 3 people across. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at my hands. I thought about Caleb when he was small, how he used to run to the door when I came home from work. How he used to say, "Mom, I missed you." How he used to fall asleep on my shoulder during cartoons. So how did we get here? My phone buzzed again. This time it was not Caleb. It was a number I did not recognize. I almost ignored it, but something told me to answer. "Hello," I said. A man's voice came through, businesslike. "Is this Mrs. Eleanor Hart?" "Yes," I said, sitting up straighter. "My name is Mr. Dorsey," he said. "I'm calling from Riverstone Bank. We need to discuss an urgent matter regarding a loan in your name." My mouth went dry. "A loan?" I repeated. "Yes," he said. "A large loan. It has missed payments. We have been trying to contact you." I felt like the room tilted. "I have no loan," I said. "I have never taken a loan from your bank." There was a pause. "Ma'am," he said carefully, "the paperwork shows your signature." My heart thudded hard. A memory flashed in my mind, sharp as glass. 2 months ago, Caleb had come to my house with a folder. He told me it was wedding paperwork, something about insurance and family details. He said he was stressed and needed my help. He had pointed where to sign. I had been tired that day. I had trusted him. I swallowed. "Can you email me the documents?" I asked. "Yes," the man said. "I can send them right now." When I hung up, my fingers were cold. I checked my email. Within minutes, the message arrived. I opened the attachment. My name was typed across the top. The loan amount made my stomach drop. And there, on the signature line, was something that looked like my handwriting, but not quite. Like someone had copied my signature slowly, trying to make it match. I stared at it until my eyes burned. Then I whispered, "Caleb." My phone buzzed again. A final text from him for the night. "Don't show up early tomorrow. Sit in the back. Smile." I looked from the text to the loan document. My hands stopped shaking. A calm, clear feeling settled in my chest, like a door closing. If my son was bold enough to cancel my room and tell me to sleep in the lobby, and bold enough to put a massive loan in my name, then what was he really doing with this wedding? And how many people were helping him? I set my phone down on the bed and stood up slowly, like someone standing after a storm. Tomorrow, my son wanted a perfect wedding. But before the day ended, everyone would learn the truth. Would they believe me, or would Caleb find a way to silence me first? In the morning, sunlight poured through the tall windows of the suite, but it did not warm me. I did not sleep much. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Caleb's text. "Sleep in the lobby." Every time I tried to calm down, I saw the loan paper with my name on it. I made tea using the fancy little machine in the suite. I held the warm cup and forced myself to think clearly. First, I needed facts. Not feelings. Facts. I called Riverstone Bank back. I asked for Mr. Dorsey again and told him I believed the loan was fraud. He sounded surprised, but not rude. "Mrs. Hart," he said, "we can open an investigation, but we need proof you did not sign." "I can provide proof," I said. "I can also provide a likely suspect." He hesitated. "Your son." "Yes," I said, and it hurt to say it out loud. He explained what I should do next. File a report. Lock my credit. Gather any documents and messages that showed what happened. He said the bank would freeze some actions on the loan while they looked deeper, but he could not promise everything would stop right away. When I ended the call, I sat at the dining table and opened a notebook. I started writing down everything, in simple steps. Caleb asked me to sign wedding paperwork 2 months ago. He did not let me read it carefully. Now a loan exists in my name. He canceled my hotel room and tried to control where I sit and what I do today. I stared at that last part. Tried to control what I do. That was the key. Caleb did not just want money. He wanted control. He wanted me quiet and small. I opened my phone and went through old messages. I found the texts from 2 months ago. Caleb had written, "Mom, please sign the papers today. I need them for the wedding stuff. I'm running around like crazy." Then later, "Just sign where I highlighted. Love you. Love you." The words made me feel sick now. I took screenshots. I saved them in a folder called Proof. Then I called my sister, Marlene. She lived 2 hours away and always had a strong voice. "Marlene," I said when she answered, "I need you to listen carefully." I told her everything. About the hotel room. About the loan. About the papers. There was silence. Then Marlene said, very slowly, "Eleanor, are you safe?" "I'm safe," I said. "I'm in the presidential suite." "What?" she said, confused. I almost laughed, but it came out like a sigh. "He tried to put me in the lobby. I upgraded." Marlene made a sound like she wanted to clap and cry at the same time. Then her tone hardened. "This is serious. You need backup. You need witnesses." "I know," I said. "That's why I called." Marlene said she would come to the wedding and sit with me. She said she would bring her husband, too. If Caleb tries anything, she said, he will have to do it in front of people. After that call, I dressed slowly, choosing a simple navy dress. Not too loud. Not too plain. I wanted to look like myself. I wanted to look calm. Because calm people are believed. I also put the loan documents in my purse. I printed them using the hotel business desk. I printed the screenshots of Caleb's messages. I printed the email from the bank. I made copies, just in case someone tried to grab them. Before I left the suite, I stood in front of the mirror. "Do not cry," I told myself. "Not yet. Cry later. Today, be clear." At the hotel ballroom, everything looked beautiful. White flowers, soft music, guests in bright clothes, everyone smiling. People were laughing and taking pictures by a big sign that said, "Caleb and Tessa, forever." Tessa was Caleb's bride. She always seemed polite, but I noticed she rarely looked me in the eye. I used to think she was shy. Now I wondered if she was hiding something. I walked in slowly. I felt eyes on me. Not angry eyes. Curious eyes. The kind that wonder why the mother of the groom looks so serious. Caleb spotted me from across the room. His smile was wide, but it did not reach his eyes. He walked fast, like he was marching. "What are you doing here?" he hissed quietly, staying polite on the outside. I matched his tone. "I'm here for your wedding," I said. "You were supposed to come later," he said. "And you were supposed to stay quiet." I looked at him and spoke softly. "Caleb, you cancelled my room last night." His eyes flickered. "You're being dramatic." "I had to rearrange things." "Rearrange," I repeated. "So you texted me to sleep in the lobby." He leaned closer, his smile still fixed for anyone watching. "Don't ruin this," he whispered. "Not today." I could smell his cologne. I could see a thin line of sweat at his hairline. "Not today," I agreed gently. "Today is important." He stared at me, trying to read my face, trying to see if I was going to explode. But I did not explode. I simply walked away. During the ceremony, I sat near the front with Marlene when she arrived. Marlene squeezed my hand and whispered, "I'm here." Caleb kept glancing toward us. His jaw was tight. The vows were spoken. The guests clapped. Caleb kissed Tessa. Cameras flashed. Everyone cheered. Then came the reception. Food, dancing, speeches. Caleb's best man spoke first. Then Tessa's sister. Then Caleb stood up, holding a microphone, smiling big. He began to thank everyone. He thanked friends. He thanked the wedding planner. He thanked Tessa. Then he said, "And most of all, I want to thank my mother. She has always supported me." The room applauded. People turned and smiled at me. They expected me to stand and wave. Caleb looked straight at me, and his eyes said one thing: "Stay in your seat." I stood up anyway. The applause faded into silence, like someone turned off the music. Caleb's smile froze. "Mom," he said into the microphone, voice shaky, "this isn't planned." I took a small step forward. My heart was loud in my ears, but my voice stayed calm. "It's okay," I said. "I won't take long." I reached into my purse and held up the printed loan document. And the moment the paper showed in my hand, Caleb's face changed. Not anger, not embarrassment, fear. He took a step toward me like he might try to stop me, and I realized something terrifying. If he was this scared of a piece of paper, then the truth must be bigger than I thought. And if I spoke, would he try to destroy me right here in front of everyone? For one long second, the whole room felt like it stopped breathing. I could hear a fork clink against a plate somewhere. I could hear the soft hum of the speakers. I could hear my own pulse. Caleb held the microphone, but his hand trembled. "Mom," he said again, smiling too hard, "let's talk later." I looked at him kindly, the way mothers look when they are trying not to break down. "No," I said gently. "Later is how problems grow. Today, I am choosing truth." A few people laughed nervously, thinking it might be a joke. Then I spoke in a clear voice, loud enough for the first rows, and steady enough for the back of the room. "Last night," I said, "Caleb cancelled my hotel room and texted me, 'Sleep in the lobby.'" A gasp moved through the crowd like a wave. Someone whispered, "He did what?" Caleb's eyes widened. He tried to interrupt. "Mom, please, you're confused." That word hit me like a slap. Confused. The same word he used in the loan paperwork, I was sure. The same word people use when they want to make an older person look foolish. I lifted my chin. "I am not confused," I said. "I am calm. And I brought proof." I held up the loan document higher. "This is a bank loan in my name," I said. "A very large one. I did not take it. I did not agree to it. And I did not sign it." The room erupted into murmurs. People turned toward Caleb. Tessa's smile vanished. Her hands clutched the edge of the table. Caleb's best man took a step closer, eyes sharp. "Caleb," he muttered, "what is she talking about?" Caleb tried to laugh. "This is family stuff," he said into the microphone. "Not appropriate here." "It became appropriate when you used my name," I said, still calm. I looked at Tessa next, because I needed to know if she was shocked or pretending. "Tessa," I said, "did you know about this?" Tessa's eyes filled with tears. She started, then stopped. She looked at Caleb like she was afraid of him. That told me enough. I turned back to the guests. 2 months ago, Caleb brought me papers, I explained. He told me it was wedding paperwork. He told me to sign where he highlighted. I trusted him, because he is my son. I paused and let that sink in. When the bank called me last night, I continued, they said the paperwork shows my signature. But it is not mine. Marlene stood up beside me. She has screenshots of his messages, she said loudly. And the bank email. Caleb's face was pale now. He stepped off the stage and moved toward me faster. Give me that, he hissed under his breath. I took a step back. Marlene's husband stepped forward, blocking him. Don't touch her, he warned. At that point, the room was no longer a wedding. It was a courtroom made of flowers and tablecloths. Everyone watching. Everyone deciding who to believe. Caleb turned back to the crowd and tried a different trick. My mom has been stressed, he said, raising his voice. She forgets things. She's been tired lately. I expected that. It still hurt. I nodded slowly, as if considering his words. Then I reached into my purse and pulled out my phone. I have the messages, I said. Would you like me to read them? Caleb's eyes darted around. He saw people filming on their phones now. He saw his boss near the back, frowning. He saw Tessa's father, standing up, face red. Caleb, Tessa's father said, voice deep, what is this? Caleb swallowed. It's complicated. It's not complicated, I said. It's wrong. I read the message out loud. Mom, please sign the papers today. Just sign where I highlighted. Love you. People murmured again, louder this time. The words sounded different when spoken out loud. They sounded like a trap. Tessa covered her mouth with her hand. Caleb, she whispered, you said the loan was for our house and it was in your name. The room went quiet again. I turned to her, careful with my voice. Tessa, I said, he told you it was in his name. She nodded, tears sliding down her cheeks. He said it was temporary, she said. He said it was the only way to get approved fast. So she did know about a loan. Just not the truth. Caleb snapped, finally losing control. I did it for us. He shouted. I did it because we needed a house, and the bank wouldn't approve me fast enough. I was going to pay it back. A stunned silence followed. His words hung in the air like smoke. I looked at him sadly. You were going to pay it back with what money? I asked. Because you don't have enough. And you know it. Caleb's mouth opened, but no words came out. That was when a woman in a gray dress stepped forward. I recognized her. She was the wedding planner. Mrs. Hart, she said quietly, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think you should know something. Caleb gave me a different card last night and told me to charge extra expenses to you. My stomach dropped. Extra expenses. Charged to me. This was not just one loan. This was a pattern. Caleb was using my name like it was a spare wallet. I forced myself to breathe and asked the planner, do you have receipts? She nodded. Yes. I looked at Caleb, and for the first time, he looked like a stranger. If he had already been charging wedding costs to me, what else had he put in my name? And how many debts were waiting to crash down on me after the music ended? The reception turned into chaos, but not the loud kind. It was the sharp, whispering kind. People clustered in small groups. Phones came out. Faces tightened. Someone turned the music off completely. Caleb tried to pull Tessa aside. She yanked her hand away like his touch burned. No, she said, voice shaking. Tell me the truth. Right now. Caleb's lips pressed into a thin line. He looked around, searching for an escape. But there was no escape. Everyone was watching, and cameras were recording. I stepped closer to Tessa, not too close, so I would not scare her. Tessa, I said softly, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to stop a lie. Tessa's eyes flicked toward me. Did he really cancel your room? She asked. I nodded. He did, I said. And he texted me to sleep in the lobby. Tessa's face twisted in disbelief. Why would he do that? She whispered. Because he thinks I will accept anything, I thought. Because he thinks kindness is weakness. But I said it plainly, for everyone to hear. He did it because he wanted control, I said. He wanted me small and quiet. If I am small and quiet, I cannot question what he is doing. Caleb's best man, Jordan, stepped forward. Caleb, he said, answer her. Why did you do all this? Caleb's eyes flashed. Because nobody helps me, he snapped. Nobody sees how hard I work. I'm always behind. Always. I needed a way out. I nodded slowly. So you used me as your way out, I said. You used my name. At that moment, Tessa's father walked up, face stiff. Caleb, he said, are you telling me you took a loan in your mother's name to pay for this wedding and a house? Caleb hesitated. That hesitation was an answer. Tessa's mother began to cry quietly. Tessa's father clenched his fists. This wedding is done, he said sharply. Caleb's head snapped up. No, he said. You can't. We're already married. Then the celebration is done, Tessa's father corrected. And the relationship will be reviewed. Tessa flinched at the word reviewed, like her father was turning her life into a business decision. But she also looked relieved, like someone finally took the weight off her chest. Marlene leaned toward me. We need to protect you right now, she whispered. He might try something. I knew she was right. Caleb was cornered. People were seeing who he really was. And when a person like that feels cornered, they can become dangerous in a different way. Not with fists, but with lies. With threats. With sudden phone calls. With stolen documents. I turned to the wedding planner. Please email me every receipt, I said. And please forward any messages from Caleb about charging me. She nodded quickly. I will, she said. Then I turned to Jordan, Caleb's best man. Jordan, I said, you've known Caleb a long time. Do you know if he has done anything like this before? Jordan looked sick. He asked me once, Jordan admitted, to put something on my credit card for him. He promised to pay me back. He didn't. My chest tightened. How much? I asked. 2,000, Jordan said quietly. He kept making excuses. People gasped again. That was important. It showed a pattern. It showed Caleb did not just make one bad choice. He had been building these choices for a long time. Caleb shouted, stop talking. He pointed at me, eyes wild. You always do this. You always make me look bad. I stayed steady. Caleb, I said, you made you look bad. You did. Tessa stepped back from him. I don't know you, she whispered, voice breaking. I don't know who you are. Caleb turned toward her, panicked. Tessa, please, he begged. We can fix this. Tessa shook her head. Fix it by stealing from your mother again. She said. That sentence landed like a rock in water. Stealing from your mother. No one could pretend it was anything else now. Caleb's eyes darted toward the exit. And that was when I noticed something else. A man in a dark suit near the back, watching too carefully. He was not family. He was not a guest I recognized. He did not look shocked like everyone else. He looked like he was calculating. I leaned toward Marlene. Do you see that man? I whispered. Marlene followed my gaze. Yes, she said. Who is he? I did not know, but my instinct screamed that he mattered. The man turned and walked out quickly, like he did not want to be questioned. I felt a cold fear. What if Caleb was not doing this alone? What if someone helped him set up the loan? What if there was more paperwork, more accounts, more damage already done? I grabbed my purse and my phone. I was about to follow that man out of the ballroom when my phone buzzed. A new email had arrived. It was from Riverstone Bank. And the subject line made my stomach drop. Immediate action required. Additional accounts under your name. My hands shook as I opened the email, but my mind stayed clear. That was the strange thing about fear. Sometimes it makes you fall apart. Sometimes it makes you focus like a bright flashlight. The email listed 2 more accounts I did not recognize. One was a credit line. The other looked like a second loan application that was still being processed. I whispered, no, and felt my throat tighten. Marlene saw my face and took the phone gently. She read the email and looked up, eyes hard. We are leaving, she said. I nodded. I did not need a dramatic exit. I needed safety and action. We walked out of the ballroom together. Jordan followed. Tessa followed too, wiping tears from her cheeks, her dress swishing as she hurried. Caleb shouted after us, Mom. Come back. I did not turn around. In the hotel lobby, I asked the front desk for a private room to talk. The manager, who had heard the commotion, offered a small conference room. Inside, I sat at the table and laid everything out. The loan documents, the bank email, the screenshots, the planner's receipts that had started arriving already. Tessa sat across from me, face pale. "I swear," she said softly, "I didn't know he used your name." I believed her. She looked truly shocked, like someone waking up from a dream and realizing the ground is gone. "Tell me what you did know," I said. Plainly. Tessa took a shaky breath. "Caleb said he had debt," she admitted. "Credit cards. Old bills. He said he just needed time. He said the wedding would make everything look stable. He said once we were married, his boss would give him a better position because he'd seem responsible." Jordan made a sound of disgust. "That's not how life works," he muttered. Tessa continued, "He said the house loan was urgent because the landlord was selling the apartment. He said the bank wouldn't approve him fast enough. He told me his mom was helping." I nodded. "He used my kindness as a tool," I said. "That's what he did." Marlene leaned in. "Now we need to stop this fast," she said. I called Mr. Dorsey from the bank on speakerphone. I told him about the new email and asked what it meant. "It means someone attempted additional credit using your identity," he explained. "We can freeze activity, but you need to file a police report for identity theft and fraud. You also need to place a fraud alert and credit freeze with the credit bureaus." I listened carefully and took notes. Marlene took notes too. Jordan offered to be a witness. The wedding planner emailed receipts and messages. The manager offered to print everything again and stamp dates, to show when the documents were received. Then I did the hardest part. I called the police, not to make a show, but to make a record. I explained simply, I had evidence of fraud. I had bank documents. I had messages. I had witnesses. A report was filed. After that, I called a lawyer recommended by Marlene's friend. The lawyer's voice was calm and clear. She said the same thing: paper trails matter. Reports matter. Witnesses matter. Calm truth wins. That afternoon, Caleb finally found us. He burst into the conference room, eyes red, hair messy, suit jacket wrinkled. "Mom," he said, voice cracking, "why are you doing this to me?" I looked at him for a long moment. The son I raised was in there somewhere, but he was buried under greed, fear, and pride. "Caleb," I said, "you did this to you." He slammed his hand on the table. "I was going to fix it." "By what plan?" I asked, steady. "Explain it. Clearly." He opened his mouth, then closed it. Jordan spoke sharply. "You never had a plan," he said. "You had a hope. And you were willing to burn people for it." Tessa stood up, trembling. "You lied to me," she said. "You made me part of something ugly. You used your own mother." Caleb's face crumpled. "I'm sorry," he whispered. I believed he was sorry now. But sorry was not enough. "Caleb," I said quietly, "you don't get to hurt people and then ask them to erase it with forgiveness. You must face consequences. That is how you learn. That is how you change." He looked at the documents. His eyes moved over the loan amount, the printed receipts, the bank email. "Who helped you?" Marlene asked suddenly. "Who was that man at the reception?" Caleb flinched. "That told me everything." He swallowed. "It was a broker," he admitted. "He said he could make paperwork easier. He took a fee." "A fraud broker," the lawyer said plainly, standing near the doorway. "She had arrived minutes earlier. That is criminal." Caleb began to cry, but not like a child. Like an adult who finally realizes he may lose everything. The police officer assigned to my report arrived later and took statements. The bank froze the accounts. The broker was investigated because Caleb's admission pointed toward a clear lead. The wedding planner provided a full record of charges Caleb tried to place on me, which helped show intent, not accident. And Tessa made her decision. 2 days later, she filed for an annulment. She said she could not build a life on lies. She said she felt sorry for Caleb, but she could not trust him. Caleb lost more than a wedding celebration. His job placed him on leave because the story spread. His friends stepped back, not out of hate, but because they finally saw the truth. As for me, I did not win in a happy way. A mother never feels happy when her child falls. But I also did not lose myself. I moved my accounts. I locked my credit. I changed my legal documents. I told my church friends what happened, because silence protects the wrong person. I learned that keeping quiet to keep peace can invite bigger harm. A month later, Caleb asked to meet me with a counselor present. I agreed, because I still loved him, but I loved myself too. In that meeting, Caleb said something that mattered. I thought you would always cover for me, he admitted. I thought you would always stay quiet. I nodded. That's why I spoke, I said. Because the lesson was simple, and it was painful. Trust is precious, even with family. But trust does not mean blindness. Love does not mean silence. And courage is not shouting. Sometimes courage is standing up calmly, with proof in your hand, and saying, "This stops today." That night, when I went back to my own home, I sat on my couch with a cup of tea. I looked around at the life I built with honest work and quiet patience. And I felt something I had not felt in a long time. I felt safe. I felt free. I felt like my voice belonged to me again.